Women who went from a low sex drive to a high sex drive. What happened? All roughly around the same time, my youngest finally stopped waking me up at night. My husband got a vasectomy. Switched antidepressants. And I lost weight. He stopped thrusting inside me like he were trying to rip me in half, and I had my first orgasm. Or at least what 15-year-old me considered to be an orgasm. Now I could honestly go 5 times a day. I need at least 1 to 2 to feel satisfied. I finally let go of the insecurities I had regarding sex and gave myself to permission to actually enjoy it. Amazing how your own mindset can either enhance or ruin your experiences. I met my husband. Stopped birth control, then got pregnant. My real hormones are horny. Apparently. Got an IUD after having a baby. Slightly lower sex drive. Got it removed. Sex drive through the roof again. I realized I had bipolar instead of depression, and I switched to a med that worked. Kicked my lying, abusive, alcoholic, now ex-husband out. Instant aphrodisiac. These "I met the right person" comments are amazing. But for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, it's medication. First it was my birth control. Once I got off it, my sex drive increased. Until I went on an antidepressant. I thought I was broken until I realized that almost all my friends on birth control or an antidepressant felt the same way. Always nice to find post full of PPL who had sex. Such rarity on Reddit. I hit my 40s and oh my god. Received therapy and counseling to heal from the sexual trauma I endured as a child. Seeking help was the best decision I ever made. I now have a rewarding sex life when I never thought that would be possible before. I found out I was a masochist and a sadist. I discovered I could actually orgasm. I mean, my sex drive was never really low. But it wasn't high either. At the start of lockdown last year, I bought myself some toys. And for the first time ever at 31, yes, I'm a very late starter, decided to really try masturbation. Well, not only can I orgasm after all, but last month I also discovered I can squirter. Now my sex drive is so high that I'm a little worried if when I date someone they won't be able to keep up with me. My husband started treating me with a ton of love and affection outside the bedroom. Changed my birth control. I thought that I had a physical issue because I was in my 20s and I no longer wanted to have sex with my partner. The relationship was unhealthy. So we broke things off eventually. When I met the recent man I dated, my sex drive skyrocketed. I forgot that I could feel so sexually attracted to a person. I realized it was never a physical issue. It was a mental/emotional one. I like to have sex with someone that pleases me on an emotional level more than anything. So I would have to say that the chemistry and bond one have with a person when no sex is involved would be the biggest factor in what makes me want it and what makes it so great. Bupropion 450 milligrams. Better dick attached to a man that showed an interest in my happiness/comfort/pleasure/stress, etc. Nothing dries a pussy like too much mental load. I got a divorce. I went the opposite way. I went on anxiety meds and stopped smoking W33D. If you want more information on this topic, I highly recommend the book Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. Most of the comments mention that they found someone who enjoyed seeing them finish. Not being selfish will go a long way. My dudes. I went through some sort of second puberty. My sex drive isn't super high but had no real interest in sex until I was 24-ish. I found an appropriately sized penis. My ex was a bit too well endowed. Sex could be painful even with lube, foreplay, etc. There'd often be a tiny bit of blood. Skin tears. Nothing major, I'd mostly enjoy it at the time but could be sore afterwards, and I didn't really realize it could be different. My current partner is smaller though not small. Knows how to use what he's got and is great at foreplay. Because there's no pain/soreness, and because he's sexy as hell. I'm up for it daily. ITT. Lost weight. Stopped taking the pill or changed to non-hormonal birth control like a copper IUD. Stopped taking antidepressants. Left terrible boyfriend slash partner slash husband. I was drunk and bi-curious and let a bratty lesbian cream puff top me in the back of her car. Turns out I had just been doing it wrong. Finally realized I'm a lesbian. I changed my batteries, winky face. Broke up with the boyfriend I wasn't meant to be with. Got together with my now boyfriend. Years in and it's still exciting and wonderful. A lot of it has to do with it being a much healthier relationship. Not a woman but a FAB. Switched from Effexor to Wellbutrin. In all fairness, my sex drive wasn't even low. I just couldn't orgasm from actual sex, so it was less of a priority for me. Swapped meds and suddenly G-spot orgasms are a thing and I'm horny way more often. Had twin babies via C-section. I solo orgasmed about 12 hours after their birth and since then I need sex almost daily. Also a woman's sexual peak is in their 30s, so that might account for something. Plus the older I've gotten, the more body and mind confident I've become. So that might be a thing too. I met and fell in love with someone who likes making me orgasm. I no longer feel like I'm not worth the extra effort. Finally started having sex with someone that cared about pleasing me. I went from high to low then high again with the same husband. I had low sex drive after first kid. Got it back after our second kid was 2. We were still having sex but not often, like once every few weeks, but it wasn't something I was excited about. My husband asked me about it. But he understood, both tired kids, other things, etc. We went like this for 3 or 4 years. Then one year I made New Year's resolution, for myself. I mean, it might sound weird but I love good statistics, to get 3-digit sex times per year. Meaning to have regular sex minimum 2 times a week. And I stuck to that. I needed to have sex regularly. It reminded me how much I liked it. Was hard to find time first weeks. But then I got into this rhythm and now started 3rd year with actually having sex often and I enjoy it so much, sometimes even few times per day. A nice neckbeard in a fedora talked to me about how women are actually on top of society and I left an abusive religion and realized women were allowed to enjoy sexuality too. It happened to my wife for some reason. Shortly after I lost about 20 kilos of weight. I don't know if the two events are related. I thought I just had a low sex drive until I found a compatible partner. My current partner is very in tune to what I like and how to pleasure me. After I met him, my sex drive skyrocketed. Dumped an ex who had poor hygiene. Poor health, he overeats, not a health condition. Emotionally abusive and ultimately poor personality. Met someone much better in every regard and can't get enough of him. Get it a good few times a day now. A few things. 1. I left my ex that I was better off friends with. Looking back, we didn't even have romantic chemistry, let alone sexual. 2. In 2019 I had a wild week in Las Vegas and I realized that I do have a decent sex drive. 3. I met my current boyfriend who I not only have all the love in the world for but I also feel comfortable and safe with. And boy, that's the biggest turn on. Recovered from my eating disorder, LMAO. Crazy what a little bit of body confidence will do for you. I quit hormonal birth control. What also helps is not drinking alcohol. Sex is better without it. And eventually you'll want more of it because of that. Got pregnant. Those sweet hormones. Broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years and after that I started to notice a higher sex drive and wanting to please myself more. Finally doing what is right for me and what I want made me more confident and my self-assurance started to get better. I'm a guy but I have to tell this story, so a good buddy of mine has been married forever. And his sex life with his wife, also a friend, was always great. Then over the course of about a year, her libido decreased very gradually, to a point where they were having sex less than once a month. My friend was super bummed and also a bit puzzled. After this, they were technically to the point of a dead bedroom marriage. And my buddy was trying to deal with it with as much dignity as he could muster. But then she started to skip periods. Until they ceased altogether. She went to get checked and after a few months of tests they discovered a tumor in her brain. Don't worry, this has a happy ending. She went through surgery and they removed it, through her nose. And found it benign. A couple of weeks later, all concerns were removed. Then. Her libido started to come back until she became a non-stop fucking machine. It was every day. Every moment the kids were busy. Nightly attacks. Morning attacks. My buddy was generally happy, but there were moments where he was literally with irritation that would cause him to wince when changing. We work out together. This went on for about a year, as if the lady had accumulated all that libido somewhere and it was now rushing out all at once. Buddy was generally happy but a bit freaked out, and overall it was awesome because it was as if life was coming back with a vengeance. I think now they are basically back to normal. Meaning with a very happy sex life. So there. Edit, I'm spelling ceased like a 6-year-old. Not my story. My wife's. She has tried every type of contraception available, and while on each of them she had literally zero sex drive. She came off it to try for a baby and HOLYSHIT. I can't keep up. She wants it more than once a day and I just don't have that in me, lol. After so many years of very little to no sex. I guess I kinda got used to it. Speaking on behalf of my wife, she came off the pill. The pill ruins women's hormones. And have you ever read the list of possible side effects? That list is huge. I prefer to take the frustration of wearing a condom than worry about her having any of those issues. Doing that itself had the very pleasant outcome of increasing her sex drive. I accidentally triggered a hypomanic episode which led to hypersexuality, and then I got diagnosed with bipolar 2, womp womp. The worst part was my husband had gotten used to my lower sex drive and wasn't necessarily pleased with me trying to jump on his dick 24/7. Thanks for watching.